In the world of photography, we are all faced with multiple decisions that have a huge impact on what we do in our photography world. What camera system are we going to choose? What focal length? What lenses are we going to invest in to create our look for the jobs we're completing? What exactly are we going to shoot between film and digital? And most importantly, what and who are we going to take photos of? Now, a lot of these decisions we have to make multiple times based on finances, access, and of course what our specific interest is in the photography world. But there is one specific question that stands out amongst the rest that will truly impact you in a way that no other can. And the question is this: are you okay with being really good at photography? Or would you prefer to be someone that hates seeing others successful, doesn't really root for anyone or contribute anything to photography, and unfortunately is scaring the hoes? Now again, this is a decision that you all have to make. Picking one or the other doesn't change the fact that photography is there for you and that photography is inclusive, but it does significantly affect the way that you view photography, and most importantly, it does affect how much you enjoy it. This video was originally going to be called How to Take Fantastic Images and Not Scare the Hoes Away, but I decided to change it up. So instead, I've decided to call this video The 3 Photographer Types That You Don't Want to Be. Also guys, let me just preface, the hoes can be male or female, non-binary. Also, don't get offended by everything that I'm going to say. If you're getting mad, it's because these are some things that you yourself practice. If you feel like I practice them, that's cool. You can tell me. I'm just not going to give a damn because I'm probably already aware of it. Howdy. So, I'm going to make some changes to this video and I'm jumping in here. I've been editing and fixing everything up and it's a good video. I absolutely love it. But I want to change the way that I say some things. And not because I disagree with anything I said or I'm worried about getting demonetized because people from a certain Reddit forum are going to start reporting my account for bullying again. But for a simple reason that I don't believe that everyone truly wakes up and wants to be a hater in photography. I believe that there are people that are bitter and jealous, like the Henri Cartier-Bresson wannabe that we're about to talk about. But even more, there are a lot of people that have gotten this idea that in order to be seen, in order to be relevant, you have to be someone that acts like a know-it-all. You have to be someone that tears others down, and you have to be hyper-critical and be an edgelord of photography in order for people to take you seriously. And that's just not true. You guys, I want you to understand something. When people are hateful and people are negative and people go out of their way to critique people and critique artists, and let alone people that do that and they don't show their own work, they're not real photographers. They're not good photographers, and even more, they're not people that you should think are fun or great to be around. It's a red flag, because if they're going to talk shit about these other people around you while they have their own shitty work, what do you think they're going to do when you start to exceed past them and their expectation of themselves? Photographers you don't want to be, number 1. The Henri Cartier-Bresson wannabes. Listen, it is what it is. These are people that are unfortunately jealous of other photographers, notice everything else and all the accolades that someone else gets, all the while complaining because they believe that they deserve the opportunities that someone's getting. They make claims about nepotism, they make claims about this is bullshit, that isn't real photography, etc. And the sad thing is, because I don't believe these people want to be like this, I believe it's a defense mechanism because they don't feel confident in the photos they're taking. Now, a lot of that could be that they're just busy copying other photographers, older photographers, that they think that, you know, that's the formula to become better. But a lot of it also has to do with the fact that jealousy really is a bitch, and it takes over and it runs your life. Henri Cartier-Bresson wannabes think that there's this persona or this idea that just because Henri Cartier-Bresson was an asshole, that if they're an asshole, that people will take them seriously and that they'll be able to have an air of excellence about them, even though their work isn't that good. Every professional photographer I know doesn't give a shit about what the photographer next to them is doing. We're very impressed with others. We give accolades to people. We call out things like, you know, stuff that we see as predatory for sure. But as far as getting mad at people like Peter McKinnon shooting film, getting mad at someone like Joe Greer because he wears a bucket hat, getting mad at Pauly B because he only interviews New York photographers, getting mad at you know, someone like a Dorian Coleman because he shoots APS-C and not full frame, things like that, the irrelevant things that people critique, saying everyone's photos are mid, everyone's photos are crap. it's just because they have nothing to show for themselves. These are the people that if you ask them, hey, if you don't like these people's work, can you show me your portfolio? They fall back on, oh, I'm a hobbyist. Oh, I just do this for fun. Oh, you guys always bully, like we have to show a portfolio. No, it's not that. It's just that most people that are afraid to show their work are usually already out here talking shit about other people's work. Or at least most people that are talking shit about everyone's work are afraid to show their own because they don't have much to show for it. We're here, downtown San Antonio, and we're just shooting, taking some shots, trying to see what I can get. Thank you, DJI Osmo Pocket, for making walking around with the rig easy. I'm not going to POV or anything, but I kind of want to use this as a way to talk about, there's a lot of things you can be as a photographer, you know? And one of the things that people forget is you're always going to fall into two camps. You're either going to fall into the camp of someone who just enjoys photography and has fun with it, enjoys it, and just, you know, you like making good work, or you're going to fall into the camp of bitchless and talentless, and that's not as fun, in my opinion. And usually you're a little bit jealous, talk a lot about people, and don't have much to show for whenever it comes to your own work. So all it takes is a little bit of haterism in you to come after that. The number 2 photographer that you don't want to be, not as egregious as the first, but still someone that actually holds back the fun for a lot of other people and is just annoying to talk to, the purist professional. So we're here in Austin at Austin FC, and this DJI Osmo Pocket is doing horrible. And yeah, we're just getting ready for the match. Game is around us. Folk are over here on this side if it'll spin, but it probably won't. There's my boy Zach. The next thing we're going to talk about is the purist professional. This is the person that at an event like this, Austin FC, would scoff at me for shooting an APS-C camera. You guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. Yes, your camera does matter to an extent, but it even matters more your skill. One thing to always remember, I'm here with probably about 18 other photographers for 18 different publications. I'm the only one shooting APS-C, but here's the deal. I get paid the exact same that they do. Getting ready to head to Bright Coffee to go just hang out. Why don't you state your name, address, phone number?
My name is Clint.
Work on a few things and relax until my wife is ready for me to pick her up from Austin. But I want to touch a little bit really quickly on what I'm, how I really feel about the purist professional. I'm not hating on people that like gear, hating on people that buy a whole bunch of gear, that have gear acquisition syndrome, or that are just gearheads. There's that in every single, whatever you're into. If you're a musician, there are gearheads. If you're, someone who is a crocheter, a knitter, a coffee enthusiast, these people buy the best gear and they switch through stuff a lot. I'm not hating on that. What I'm hating on is people think that their gear gives them some entitled place, or their gear gives them some right to talk to people about how they should or shouldn't do things, especially people that are doing just fine without other people's opinions. You guys, the biggest thing that is a hindrance to people continuing in photography isn't the fact that, just like music, it's hard to be able to break into a place to where you feel comfortable and feel like you're successful. Photography is very easy in general. Film, digital, doesn't matter. It's an easy medium to learn and to start doing every day. One of the biggest things that keeps people out is the gatekeeping. There's people telling others they have to get this or that, buy this, buy that, or they're doing something wrong or using something wrong, and then it makes people feel like, damn, I am never gonna figure this out, and that camera starts picking up dust on a shelf. Or they feel horrible because they bought a camera they shouldn't have bought, spent way too much money on lenses, gear, etc. They don't shoot as much as they do, so they sell it altogether to recoup money back for a hobby that's going nowhere. Again, a lot of that's because of this purist professional that loves to tell people what they should or shouldn't have, and that the gear they have isn't really well or won't really work the best, but if they bought this, that, or the other, they'd be successful. And that's not true. If you're someone like me who has done this for long enough, gotten paid for it, and actually has been in rooms with people that are other professionals, we don't talk about gear, we don't talk about background blur, separation, etc. We talk about events, moments, favorite images, but never about the gear that helps make it. And even more, we never correct each other on what we're using, how we're using it, and why we're using it. If anything, we're more impressed by the feats of the limitations of the gear that we use amongst each other. The final photographer that you never want to be, the asshole wedding photographer. And let me dive deep into this. It has nothing to do with someone being rude to a client or rude to other wedding photographers in the sense of disrespecting an event. This is what happens. We have wedding photographers now that are going out of their way to bid for 5, 6, 7 weddings that make overlap in time with no intention of actually shooting these weddings. What they're doing is getting these weddings, having the brides, the grooms sign the contract, and then immediately pivoting and trying to hire associate wedding photographers to shoot these weddings for them. Meaning the guy who won the contract, let's say photographer A, is never going to step anywhere near the bride, the groom, not do any of the planning, not actually show up to the event, do no editing, anything at all. He's gonna hire photographer B, who also bid for this event. But here's the deal. If photographer B said, I'll shoot your wedding for $5,000, photographer A will say, I'll shoot it for $3,000. And then whenever they win, because they had the lower bid, they reach out to photographer B and say, hey, I've got a wedding I can't make, sorry, it's so unfortunate, but I'll hire you as an associate wedding photographer and I'll pay you $1,000 for the event that they could actually make and they already bid for. Now, they're not communicating any of this to the bride and groom except for something came up last minute and now I can't make it. And they lie to these people intentionally. They pocket $2,000 and they're taking food and money away from another photographer. So anyway, that's all that I've got to say. I am getting prepped right now to go to Santa Fe, then to New York, and then I'm going to New Orleans, and then I'll be in Austin, and then I'll be, Lord knows, I'm going to be a lot of places over the next couple of months, so hopefully I've got some content to make with that, but work's picking up, life is busy, which means things are good. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concern, leave them down below in the comments. If you're someone who's an HBC wannabe, if you're someone who's a purist professional, if you're someone who is an asshole wedding photographer, and you have some words for me, leave them down in the comments. I would love to have a conversation, but even more, either heal from what I said or continue to stay mad. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Take it light, but take it. Have a good one.